Good evening, everyone. And those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to Unity North and our Wednesday night experience. A time of stillness, a time of peace, a time of meditation, a time of music, a time of just being together as family. I invite you to find a spot in your home or wherever you happen to be to get comfortable and to enjoy the ride that we're going to go on this evening. Beautiful night. It's raining here in Georgia. I don't know if it's raining where you are, but let it rain. Let it rain, a pure rain, a cleansing rain that allows us to get rid of that which doesn't belong. As tonight we color outside the lines. We'll be with you in just about 3 minutes. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Wednesday night experience here at Unity North Atlanta. I'm here with my good friend, Michael Burke, as always on Wednesday night. Good to have your heart and your talent and your spirit in the space. Also here with the talent, the heart, and the spirit of two gentlemen up in the booth that are here all the time. Sebastian and Wes are here, and so they're part of the team today. But we welcome you into this moment in time. We welcome you into this experience and I invite you to allow yourself to just transcend what your expectations might be about what's going to happen tonight. Every week, Michael and I kind of talk a little bit and say, what do we want to do? What's up in the field right now? And last week, we set the intention for this week. And we left last Wednesday's experience and said, let's color outside the lines. Let's be open and receptive to whatever needs to happen here. And we're inviting you into that same consciousness and that same mindset. You know, usually when we come together on Wednesday night, there is a clear order of service. The Virgo within me really likes to know where we are going, what poems we're going to be doing, and what songs we might be singing. And we kind of have a binder full of things that are possible, that may or may not happen, a book full of poems that may or may not happen. There is no plan tonight. And that sometimes can be really scary. But when we don't plan, sometimes the greatest experience of God emerges. Sometimes when we don't lock God into a box or a format, something beautiful can happen. And so I know that something beautiful will happen for us this evening. In our time 45 for 50 minutes or so. Whatever God says it needs to be, it will be. But right now, when it comes to coloring outside the lines, that means letting go of some things. It means letting go of maybe patterns and habits and ways that we've done things in the past. And so we begin our journey with the song I was playing as you tuned in. It's a song by my good friend Kathy Savada, and it's called Letting Go. Take a deep breath with me. And on the exhale, suspend anything within you that came into this time and this space with a preconceived idea of what was going to happen. And breathe yet again. And on the exhale, let us begin our journey of coloring outside the lines by suspending and setting aside our stories. Any story that we've told maybe once or 100 or 1,000 times. Let's begin our coloring outside the lines by just letting it go. And so this song is the foundation and the kickoff point for what we're going to do here this evening. Breathe these words in. Allow them to live in you. And allow your spirit to go wherever God leads us all to go. Once again, take a deep breath. No more stories. Now you can tell me your story, and I could tell you mine. 'Cause I've got a good one that will make you cry. About all the past heartaches and the tears that have flowed. But that's a distraction if it's truth you wanna know. There's a letting go. There's a letting go. There's a letting go of the things we've held on to. There's a letting go. There's a letting go. When we finally surrender, that's when our heart overflows outside the lines. When we finally surrender, that's when our heart overflows. Let us dip down into an ocean of possibility as we continue to give up any story, any notion, any idea that needs to be released. As wide as the ocean is the heart of true love. It'll welcome your spirit. It will welcome your soul. You can leave all the heartache. You can leave all your fear. It'll leave you with freedom. It will cleanse all your tears. There's a letting go. There's a letting go. There's a letting go of the things we've held on to. There's a letting go. There's a letting go. When we finally surrender, how our heart overflows. When we finally surrender, how our heart overflows. Join us on a journey outside the lines. deep within the ocean of possibility. There are no walls or boundaries or anything in the way of the full expression of who we are. Perhaps you were taught as a child, stay within the walls. Stay within the boundaries. And there was a part of you that never got to express. Tonight, let that part of you be fully, completely.
Coloring outside the lines. A child is taught to color a book by keeping the marks within each space, and with care fills in the nooks, so just the expected form takes shape. Is our destined course too often set for what we're to do and when? Restricting the way to not let us forget the boundaries we are to stay within. What lines, it said, must not be crossed are often drawn in heavy ink, which keeps us from becoming lost. Are those who draw them so may think. Are we so captive to the narrow path, the borders of which may not even exist? Is the fear of defiance too much to get past? Not daring to cross the edges of it. When feeling trapped in our constraints, which seek to control our every step, remember the urge to cross the paint. Requires less effort than one might expect. So the joy of each ascending day should not be obscured by thoughts benign. For as you travel on your way, sometimes you must color outside the lines.
And so in our first period of stillness and silence tonight, allow yourself to melt, perhaps like a child's crayon in the warm summer sun, and to feel that which is not destructive, but that which is open and flowing and becoming. Color finding its way and its form and its path. And within the silence, allow the color that is you, that endless flowing of color, melt as the borders that you have held begin to fade. as that color is let loose and freed, oh, the lines of self-created obstacles no longer exist. They have melted in the warmth of the light of your divine essence. But inevitably we come to walls, perhaps the walls of others, perhaps the walls of family, perhaps the walls of the collective human mind. Could it be that coloring outside the lines also means being willing to step outside the walls and the boundaries of others, and to find a way home beyond the walls of another human being, beyond the walls of all the human constructs? And so as we continue to expand our color, how beautiful the world becomes if we can find the avenue for others to bring down their walls as we have brought down ours. Something there is within the heart of all humanity that does not love a wall, but wants it down. Can we meet each other in that place? The place within any other human being that doesn't love a wall any more than we do. Oh, and the color that fills the skies of consciousness, the skies of being, how beautiful it is when we can find that place. This song is called The Wall, written by my friend Don Eaton. This is just a portion of it, but he wrote it after the Berlin Wall came down. And suddenly there was no east or west, there was only unity. And perhaps we, as spiritual seekers, as offspring of God, as brothers and sisters of oneness, can follow the example of walls coming down, the walls that we have built in each other's heart and lives. Take a breath again with me. And get in touch with the part of you that does not love a wall, but wants to color outside the walls. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. Something there is that wants it down. There's something in you and me, in the heart of humanity, that doesn't love a wall, but wants it down. Once upon a time, someone built a wall. It cut across the heart of a city, keeping something in and keeping something out. A wall of death, such a sorrow, such a pity. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. Something there is that wants it down. There's something in you and me, in the heart of humanity, that doesn't love a wall, but wants it down. It's so easy to see the walls that others make and never own the part of the wall that we constructed. Both sides of the wall must be willing to bring it down. Bring down the walls that we have created within. Somewhere, sometime, we all build a wall. With hearts of stone, we build the walls inside us. keeping something in, keeping someone out, until we find the faith to let love guide us. Something there is that doesn't love a wall. Something there is that wants it down. There's something in you and me, in the heart of humanity, that doesn't love a wall but wants it down. There's something in you and me, in the heart of humanity, that doesn't love a wall but wants it down. Continue our journey with bringing down all the walls.
The walls can appear in any manner. They show up as different things throughout our lives. But no matter what kind of things seem like they're gray, there's always green in the gray. Our growth is often hidden beneath the soil. And as they say, many times we think we're buried, and we're not. We're actually planted at that moment. There's green in this gray. We have to find ourselves in the shadows before we can lose ourselves in the light. For in the shade of the shadows, there's so much to be found. There's a wealth that awaits beneath the gray of green ground. All of our seeds begin in this silence before exploding alive in a beautiful violence. We shatter our shells, tear open our cages. We are shot into life, and life, it rages. It screams and it whispers and it tears us in two. And we feel we are separate from what we go through. But the learning that lay in the lessons we live is the burning away as we get what we give. So give your all to every part, not just the pieces that please your heart. There's a million others and a million more that long you to love them right down to the core. There's a tree of knowledge in every splinter, in every center that centers our center. There's a union that lay in our parts and our pieces that gathers our hearts and never ceases to shine in the shade like the moon from the sun, which constantly shows us how much we are one. And this singularity casts a wicked shadow, but there's green in this gray, and that allows us to grow.
So in our next period of silence, I invite you to invite in the idea in the beautiful poem that has been shared, that upon the canvas of your life, that the light and the dark make for the masterpiece. The light and the dark are necessary. That all the colors of your being and your existence are necessary for the work of art to find life outside the lines, within the silence. Could it be that our hearts, that the masterpiece that we were designed to be, with all of those textures and colors and shapes and sizes and experiences, it is longing for expression. Expression that travels to far-off distant lands, that sometimes contains such celebration and joy and sometimes contains pain. Yet there is that part of us that says, climb, climb, keep climbing, because at the top of your climbing is a view so vast, so complete, so magnificent, that the oneness that we celebrate can only be found in the climbing, the arduous climb. As we meet others climbing that same mountain to find ourselves at home, at the apex of being, at the apex of life itself. And my dark and my light merges with your dark and your light, and 1,000, 1,000,000, an infinite number of colors, dark and light. Only for all of us to realize that we have come back home by the climbing, by the coloring, by the willingness. And what a beautiful circle it is. I climb, I learn, I yearn, I know, and then I climb again. Because in the journey I have found all that I need to discover ever expansive manifestations of the face of God. The higher you climb, the more that you see. The more that you see, the less that you know, the less that you know, the more that you yearn, the more that you yearn, the higher you climb, the farther you reach, the more that you touch, the more that you touch, the fuller you feel, the fuller you feel, the less that you need, the less that you need, the farther you reach. Take these words in as your own. The higher I climb, the more that I see. And the more that I see, the less that I know. And the less that I know, oh, the more that I yearn. And the more that I yearn, the higher I climb. Climb outside the lines.
What beautiful thoughts there. Sure feels like balance to me. Sometimes we're climbing and it might seem like we're on a seesaw. What blessings appear for me to see all come down to what I saw. Is perception a gift of recollection? Can truth be seen by its own inception? Do I produce what I create, or am I created by what I produce? Does a revelation actually reveal, or am I revealed by the revelation? For in getting to know myself, I must let go of myself. All that I know that's related to vision conjures upon me a state of division. The painting is done before I begin, but it's up to me how the colors come in. It's up to me how the colors come in. And do I stay within the lines or do I color outside the lines? It's up to me. For to see is all about what I draw from what it is I think I saw. Is a moment of divine clarity a clearer perception of this painted confusion? Do my mirrors somehow become windows? And are the windows part of the illusion? I don't have to see through to see within, but I must go within to see through. I believe the answer to who am I lies in the question, who are you? I believe the answer to who am I lies in the question, who are you? Why did I draw you into my life? And why did you draw me in yours? Is it to show that our happily ever afters are actually all happily ever befores? I'm a child. I'm a child on both sides of a seesaw. As one goes up, the other goes down. And through a repeating point of balance, a constant comes around. And that is that I can truly trust this child in my playground. who knows that balance is not something searched for. Balance is something constantly found.
Let the dance of balance that we find within the circle, outside the lines, at the top of the mountain, on the playground of a child's heart, live within us in this moment, now. Picture in your mind's eye for a moment as you and 1,000 more have made a sacred pledge and vow to color outside the line, to live in the children's playground, to climb the mountain, and to dance within the circle, each one important, each color dark and light, vitally important. And the universal recognition that comes from the play and the climb and the coloring. We are not bound. None of us are bound by chains. Breathe that in. We are free. We let go as one spirit, as one masterpiece returning home. We are not bound, we are free. We let go of the chains and let Spirit illumine our soul, our collective soul, the one divine essence, that which we were so afraid of outside not only the lines but the canvas itself, is our greatest blessing. And so we picture the eyes of many colors looking back across the circle, the hands of many, many others dancing with us, side by side, climbing the mountain to the awareness that that which we have feared is that which we are. And in this truth, we are free. We are not bound. We are free. We let go of the chains and let Spirit illumine our soul. We are not bound. We are free. We let go of the chains and let Spirit illumine our soul. Sing that with me. We are not bound. We are free. We let go of the chains and let Spirit illumine our soul. We are not bound, we are free. We let go of the chains and let Spirit illumine our soul. Sit within the silence of our collective soul.
We are always reaching higher. We are aspiring. In the life of a tree, there exists a root that digs deeper than any other. There exists a branch that reaches higher than any other. There exists a leaf that flutters and fetches the wind more gracefully than any other. Yet these individuals are part of the whole. They are held up to the light and dug deeper in the darkness by those who assist them. Some are watered, some are parched, some are frozen, and some are thawed. Some are on fire, and some are burned up. All are something that is evolving. All are something that is evolving into something else. Their very life is supported by the death of others. They eat of the earth they create. They breathe of the air that surrounds and abounds with memories of futures past and volumes of mythical elegance. And these volumes are within each of us. Lifetimes that cross vast vineyards and mountainous meanderings to reach into each other and release the essence of one another, offering the taste of resilience, bearing the scent of communion for all to breathe deep, deep in their roots and high, high in their branches. We are all leaves on this tree of life, and all our thoughts are what waters our growth. From scattered saplings to full-fledged forests, we are the nutritional supply that nourishes our next, as well as the delirious demand that desires our now. We are all of this. We come and go. We come and go with each breath. It is when we think we are falling that we are actually flying. It is when we experience dying in our life that we actually experience life in our dying. For it is in our disassembly as structures and systems that we assemble ourselves into pure existence. What often appears in our perception as a step back is more often a universal aspiration to move ahead. Every move is an act of God. We are digging our roots deeper and reaching our branches higher at all times. We are digging our roots deeper and reaching our branches higher at all times because there is no reverse. There is no reverse.
How beautiful is it to know that the circle always ends up back home at the canvas that is you, the canvas that is me. That the journey to the top, through the bottom, beneath the surface, outside the lines, leads us back to us. And the deep realization is my canvas is more for the journey. My life is more for having taken the journey outside the lines and the structures. And that perhaps the structures are sweeter themselves, more fluid perhaps. Oh, but their purpose even more sweet. Because within the confines is infinity. Within the body, within the relationships, within the lines, we have been enriched. For we have lived and bathed in God's light and God's love. And we are more. I am more. I am more. I am more than I have ever known in God's light, in God's love. I am more. Sing that with me. I am more. I am more. I am more. I am more than I have ever known in God's light, in God's love. I am more. And as we prepare to move from this time and this space, I invite you to sing that one more time and to bring the moreness that you have found outside the lines at the top of this mountain experience, to bring it into being. That not only are you more, but the world is more. One more time. I am more. I am more. I am more than I have ever been. In God's light, in God's love, I am more. Outside the lines, we become more, that we may be more within the lines. And for this, let us give thanks. And for this, let us say, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, God. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, I hope that our little journey, these were not poems that I thought Michael was going to do, but they were perfect in every way. I had about 3 other songs I thought I was going to do. I didn't do them, and that's okay. Well, let's do them next week. Actually, next week we're going to be celebrating Rumi, and we want to invite you into a wonderful experience in the back garden. Hopefully the rain will get out of the way here today, and by next Wednesday you can come out, sign up online because the space is limited. Bring your car out, get a Persian meal. You have to $10, beautiful meal for $10. And a wonderful celebration of Rumi's poetry. Many other members of our congregation will be sharing of that poetry. There'll be a little bit of music. Will be back again, and we'll be doing some Sufi chanting. But it will be a wonderful time. We will be streaming, so if you can't make it to the parking lot, still tune in because we'll have that camera on. Wes is working really hard to make sure we can do more outdoor services. If the efforts that Wes puts in and that Michael and the entire staff and board of Unity North puts in is of value to you, I'm going to invite you to please continue the generosity and know how grateful we are. So many of you are reaching out saying this is making a difference in your life, and especially on Wednesday night. We've been reaching a wider audience of people that aren't necessarily in Georgia. And so if this has value, please find our address and mail in a check to say thank you, because it allows us to continue to do this work. We don't know when we're coming back. I'm shooting for October to have people in the room. But whenever it is, it will be a divine appointment. This quarantine has caused us to color outside the lines and to figure out new ways to do ministry. And we're grateful that you are participating in this discovery process. Text to give is one way that you can say thank you. Donate on Facebook, send a check in, find a way to contribute, because it puts you inside the flow. And even if you're thinking, oh gosh, I'm a little concerned about the finances, I'm going to know with you and for you that outside the lines there's more abundance than you've ever thought possible for you, and that even in a quarantine that it can be for you. Right now, we're going to end as we always do with just celebrating the love of all the people that we know on this planet. We experience that love because we can see that love within them. Sometimes the lines that we are looking beyond are the lines of experience where it's really hard to see. We've got some things coming up that are vitally important in this election period and season. We're looking beyond the lines, man-made lines, to find peace. And there's going to be vigils, many vigils around November's election, before and after. World Day of Prayer is coming up. It'll be 24 hours of concerted consciousness, dedicated consciousness. It's on September 9th and 10th. You can tune in on our website, and for 24 hours, be a part of the evolution of consciousness that this community, Unity North, is holding for the world. We're holding beyond borders, political or otherwise. Peace on earth. And so we celebrate the love that we are allowed to be and the love that we allow others to be as we sing this closing song. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you let me be. And I thank you. Thanks for being here this evening. I hope it was meaningful. We'll see you next week in the garden or Sunday morning. Wonderful service.
Thank you.
Happy coloring outside the lines, everybody. We'll see you next time.